Hi, welcome everyone, and welcome to this live session. This afternoon, we're going to discuss with you some information on how to become a Kumon instructor. And to help me with that discussion, we have two wonderful people today joining me. By the way, my name is Mariel. I work as a franchise coordinator at Kumon. And with me is Mr. Thomas Ashlin. He is the country development manager at Kumon. And our very special guest, Ms. Laurence D'Silva. So she is
Hello.
a KUMON-Instructor at Lausanne-Est. Hold on, let me share with you some photos of her center. So perhaps if you're a student of hers or you're a parent and your child is enrolled in her center, perhaps so that's her. You have already been here, yeah, if you're a student of Laurence. So that's her center in the municipality in Switzerland called Pully. Did I pronounce that correctly?
It's close enough. It's Puy, but that's all right.
Okay.
I learned this the hard way, Meryl, as well. Pui.
All right. So that's, well, that municipality is right in the east side of Lausanne. Yeah. So there, Laurence, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. And as usual, we started discussion with a very common question. Why did you decide to become a Kumon instructor? What made you go to this direction?
Okay, straight into the topic. About 3-4 years ago, there was changes in my family dynamic, and I was, well, firstly, in terms of my background professionally, I was an IT specialist for about 10 years. And when I had my first daughter born 15 years ago, I decided to do a career swap and I became a personal trainer. I worked as a personal trainer for 10 years where I was running my own business, which I had taken to a level that was satisfying, and I wanted to change career once more. When I decided to change and to leave personal training, I sort of listed out everything that I liked in my job and what I would be seeking in a new career, what things I really liked, enjoyed, which were like a lot to do with interacting with people in a positive way. In personal training, you do good to people, they feel good about the session, it's a very positive interaction. And I also enjoyed running my own business, not working for a company. So after listing things out, I decided that my new career after personal training would also be running my business. But I didn't want to create something new. Like I didn't feel like I had a wonderful idea in this world that I could create a product or a service. And I thought maybe a franchise would be a good idea. But franchises, there's many different franchises. And while talking with my friends, one of my friends who lives in Singapore mentioned the KUMON franchises because it's pretty spread over there. And she knew some of her children, some of her friends who had kids who were going to KUMON. So then I started looking into KUMON as a franchise. And initially, that's how my KUMON journey started. It was not because I knew myself children who were doing KUMON, because in Switzerland, at that time, we only had, I believe, 2 centers in Zurich.
Yeah. Oh.
And I live very far away from this area of Switzerland, so I didn't know anything again.
We just lost you for a moment there, Laurence. You just kind of... we heard 2 centers in Zurich at the time of your opening, which was, correct.
So there was Zurich and Basel in Switzerland, but no center close to where I live. Hence, I didn't actually know of a KUMON center or children who were going to KUMON. But after looking into how KUMON was set up as a franchisor and franchisee, I decided to pursue finding out more about KUMON as a franchisee.
Okay, this is interesting because you have no prior experience in Kumon? I mean, you were not a Kumon parent, yeah? I mean, your children are not enrolled in Kumon, but you pushed through. How was your experience coming from a different background, first in IT for quite some time, and then as a sports trainer? I mean, it's a really different industry.
It's pretty super, yeah.
Sector, yeah. So how was it?
Well, I think it's very vast, but now that I am a KUMON instructor, like I opened my center now 2.5 years ago. So my experience is today with children that enrolled 2.5 years ago and who are still in my center. And as a KUMON instructor is really thriving for me to be alongside the children who are doing so well with KUMON, who are, you know, fighting every day to do the KUMON worksheet, who progress. It's very fulfilling. It's a path that I don't regret taking. As much on the business side of things, being a franchise owner, and as the content of my everyday work.
Laurence, what's because a lot of people often ask us, do I need to be a teacher? Do I need to have education? Do I need to have experience with children? And Meryl, you know, points out from IT, personal trainer. What made you said you wrote down a list, all the things that I love, right? And I can see that. I knowing you, Laurence, I can believe it, see it, and know it. What a lot of people are similar in your position, thinking career change potentially for many reasons.
Yes.
Why from this to with children? What was the link there?
With the children, to be honest, that started with the business side of things. I thought, you know, from an economical point of view, even when situation is bad and we may go through a crisis like in 2008, from a business point of view, it's an area where people will always dedicate time and money for education of their children. So that was my starting point when I wanted to select a franchise that could be business-wise successful. I thought, okay, pick something that people will need. It's not a luxury to educate children and to have their children thrive and to be their best. It's a need. And having KUMON with what I considered at the time a very good method, I could link them together. So starting with children, it was not that I love children and I wanted to be in contact with children every day. Actually, my friends, they would say like, you're very strict and you may be impatient. How will you deal with children? It's not, we're not their parents. We are KUMON instructors. So we understand the method, we apply the method to make the children better individuals. And it's the contact with them is so positive that you may not have the patience as a parent to be, you know, or love children or be a child caretaker. It doesn't matter, because what we do, we're not being parents, we're not being nice to them as such. We are being the best people we can to make them the best individuals they can.
I love that, Laurence. And because I think what is crucial here is you came in with that mindset, and I agree. Thinking about that 2008 as well, and then going into 2010, we saw that. Honestly speaking, the investment that parents were making at a time when financially there was challenges. But I want to link it now back to the previous comment you made about the children now you've had for 2.5 years in your center, and how it makes you feel. Because you started off with the motivation, I want to, you know, very business, I want to make sure I've got something that will, you like the personal training side of things as well. Of course, you'd like to get the best out of people. But the business was the kind of first decision-making process. But now, tell us how, with those 2.5 year children, why does it make you feel like you do?
Well, there's different type of children that enrolled. We have children who have lost self-confidence because, you still hear me? Yeah, sorry, I thought it was.
Yeah, I can. Too frozen.
You're very
Let me move in closer.
so
Let me move in closer. I'll keep drinking my tea. You'll see this. It's okay.
So yes, some children have sort of lost their confidence that they can be good in facing academic challenges. Well, in my center, I have the mathematics and the English programs. And when you pick up a child who is like, let's say, 9-year-old, who thinks, okay, I'm not good at maths. I can't learn anything by heart. I have problems at school. My teacher might tell me or tell the parents, or we have difficulty with your child. And you pick up a child like this, which is still, you know, a very innocent person, very young. And you get, with your interaction with them and with applying the methods, you make them feel good. And it's real case. I'm sure people who, if they've listened to other interviews from other people, every instructor will say that we have those success stories where the child has changed. And through their human journey, they will feel so good about themselves. And you know you've participated to that. I was part of that change. And that makes me feel good and makes me feel happy. It gives a purpose to my work.
There's Laurence, I'm gonna share some of our conversations. So for those listening, Laurence and I have known almost 2.5 years as well, that I came over and joined KUMON Germany. And we have had many discussions, but always comes back to how to support the child better and how we can get the best out of it. And I know when I'm in Laurence's center, it's just a joy. And last Friday evening, you know, we could be talking about anything. What is it? It's about the twins in the center, how they are doing, how they are developing. And if anyone wants to feel the value of what Laurence is doing with her KUMON Center, visit her Facebook page, by the way, because it's just showing exactly what Laurence is trying to do. No, sorry, let me use how you are getting the best out of the children to be the best themselves. Sorry, that's much better wording. And it's super. So yeah, it's great to see. It really is.
I think if we think about it, what we do is we provide mathematics, let's say, support to say widely. And how is it that the child, after being a human, can say, "Mom, don't take me to this activity, don't take me to piano, don't take me to judo, because I want to have time to go back to the center." I mean, who would think that a child can say, "I want to keep going with my maths"? It's, for me, that's really unreal. A child would say, "I enjoy doing that." And in my center, I also have the English program. And with the English program, we have CD players that speak aloud. Kids don't always have their headphones. And children who are doing maths, they see their peers doing English. And then they go to the parents and they say, "Mom, looks awesome. Can I also do English?" And the child wants to learn. And what we do is we just provide a platform and a method for them to do it. So interaction with children, they're always positive. When you see how happy they feel with learning, that's what we want to do with KUMON.
Can I just change topics for a second? Because it's a question that's often coming from either from candidates, potential candidates. Mm-hmm. And you made a great point. So I want to link the two together. One of the decisions you made, you know, what if something like 2008 comes again, the Lehman crash? And of course, we've got it, COVID-19, and that situation. And of course, not only KUMON, but every single entrepreneur, every single business, everyone has had to make tough decisions. Everyone has had to, and we still don't know, honestly speaking. I know, Laurence, speaking with you last week, Switzerland has just started introducing some measures again. UK has announced today, Greece is likely to announce. So we are still in unknown waters, so to speak. But maybe you can share honestly with those listening how it has been for you.
So back in March, when like the situation went pretty bad, we knew that some sort of confinement would be introduced in Switzerland, but we didn't know to which extent or what measures would be taken.
Yeah.
And that was pretty stressful because we didn't know what actions to take, the timeline and everything, and how we would move from a center activity, which involved children coming twice a week at the center, to potentially not be able to leave their houses to pick up homework.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened is that we were in Switzerland, what we call a semi-confinement, where you could not go back to work, but you could still leave your house and go take your car and do things outside, which made it much easier compared to other countries. So saying that, in what we did is basically we adapted to the situation. Like every new situation that we face all the time, or children when they face new situation, new problems, new challenges, that's what we had to do. And luckily with the online system that we have so many platforms available, we moved, I think within 2 weeks, to every possible platform that was there, as to not restrict the parents to one solution at the start. And eventually we started moving to one, like we used Zoom, and we got organized with that and tried to simulate the center activities. Now, in terms of business, I would say that in my area, so far, being my 3rd year of activity, there's 2 waves of enrollment. One is spring and one is right after the summer holidays. So with the semi-confinement happening in spring, I could not enroll new children because of obvious reasons, like uncertainty, not be able to do face-to-face, and other reasons.
Yeah.
So I sort of lost an enrollment phase of 2020.
Yeah.
Saying that autumn is now here and the normal wave of enrollment has started with the normal number of children starting. So, you know, I didn't lose too many children, but I didn't get as many as what I would have in normal circumstances. But then your costs change as well. And all in all, it just worked out. It flattened nicely, the pros and the cons.
And this is it at the moment. I mean, of course, we still don't know. As I said, you know, many countries are now reintroducing. But I think what you've you said, parents are still inquiring. Parents are still wanting, because, right, they kind of, we know what COVID-19 is now.
Right.
Yeah. And what is the most important is the investment in their child, right, for education. So, yeah, you can definitely see the 2 coming together on that.
But we have solution with the online platforms. If confinement starts again, or if people are watching from other countries where they're still being confined, we move to online. Yeah. It's not the best, but it's the best we can do. And it's still the best people can receive. So, you know, we move away from the best case scenario or the absolute best, to what we can provide, and that works.
This is really good, because many, like yourself, Laurence, when you started, what is Kumon method? Singapore, it is very well known, many countries, and in Europe, for those that are not aware, it's really exciting that it's only been the last 2 years that we've started to expand across Europe. So 3.5 years ago, Laurence would have had to wait to open her center, honestly speaking. But now we are opening.
Well, I actually had to wait because
there we go. That's exactly it. But now it's very different. We've now opened centers in Bulgaria, Romania, Poland, Switzerland. We did have 1 or 2 for various reasons, but to open up new centers is now good and going, and it's fantastic. So we're hoping that in years to come, like in Singapore, in North America, in Japan, or in India as Laurence knows, where children come to enroll because they know Kumon. So it will be with Europe in years to come. So it's wonderful to see, no matter which country, there are children who are wanting to experience that joy that Laurence has been talking about.
What I think, Tom, is that when I first opened my center, I was quite worried to open a center in a place where Kumon was not known.
Yes.
But as I said, like on my side of Switzerland, the French-speaking side, we didn't have a center.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I'm starting a business. I'm talking to my friends. Hardly anyone knows from Kumon. I was like, where am I going to get my kids? And Thomas Neumann at the time was telling me, but don't worry, Kumon is well known. I was like, yeah, okay, well known, but I didn't know so much about Kumon. I have kids and my friends don't know Kumon. Truth is, it's so known across the world, not just Europe, not Singapore, but North America, South America, Spain, UK.
Yes.
Now we've got the Eastern European countries, so many countries in Asia, and we have people moving around the world. So we do have, wherever people want to open their center, they will meet parents who may have looked for a Kumon center when they arrived. And I have many inquiries of people saying, oh yeah, I have my car that's rented. So they say, oh, I saw advertising like on your car, but you know, a year ago, I was looking for a Kumon center because we moved to Switzerland a year ago, but there was none. Yeah. So people do come, even if, you know, you may think that in terms of local population, it's not known. We all have those expats coming near us and they know Kumon. Yeah. And my business started really well with the expat initially, before extending to the local communities.
I think that's so crucial again for candidates thinking, you know, setting up in an unknown location. Because I know, speaking with another one in Switzerland, the wonderful Mazio in Basel that you mentioned, same, you know, first year, 80-90% expats. Yeah. And then, of course, the local community don't know it. And there is their own challenges, you know, with it. But now that local community is just because of the experience, what you shared, Laurence, with your own children, that I don't want to do judo. I want to go to Kumon, right? And when the parents see that, and the other parents see that, and I'm sure, Laurence, you can speak of this, the recommendations grow, right?
Right. Yeah, and when the child tries at school and the other parent says, why is this one getting the best mark every time? Oh, he does Kumon. What's Kumon? Can I try? And that works. I mean, I always say at the first meeting with the parents, your child will be the best. It will take time, but all going right, he will be the best in maths. He will be bilingual with English, even if the parents are French speaking at home, and it works.
Yeah. Again, for those listening, it's you talked about you know, going online, and many don't quite have an image maybe of what, because a Kumon instructor, right? How, I mean, it might be the image of a tutor is in mind, right. Where you need to be there. So you're right. You know, you said online is not perfect. It's not. But how are you still able to support your children as a Kumon instructor, Laurence?
Can we do online, you mean? For me, what I apply as a Kumon instructor in my center is similar to what I was doing online. So supporting the child comes from understanding where he's at. So whether it's academic skills or personal ability, how I'm going to take him to the next level so he can manage more complex academic challenges, and which paper, which worksheet, which part of the material is going to help me get there. Whether it's online or it's my center, it's the same interaction. So it's the same components that are in place. The main difference is my presence, physical, and maybe my personality. So if I have a big explosion of happiness or proud or being excited or being very lively when I'm live. It's maybe more challenging on a Zoom with a group where potentially you have 10 other students witnessing the interaction, whereas at the center, for people who don't know, a KUMON center, we have desks, children allocated to desk, and the instructor moves around the desk to go and observe a child. So when we observe the child, I try not to make too much noise. Firstly, not to disrupt him, but not to disrupt the others. So my interaction could be a bit more personal with that child. In online environments, what I say to one child is pretty much for everyone. So that's the change. That's the difference. But it's positive and negative, because if I'm asking a child, please orientate your camera a little bit better, I'm saying that one, you've got 9 other people listening. Everybody will be checking, how is my camera? Or anything, or your speed is great, or you haven't stopped. And I'm also taking that on.
I just remembered one of I think, Laurence, one of our, so as you said, in March, April, we all responded, not just KUMON, everybody responded. How do we continue? And in our case, the most important question was, how can we continue to support children? Yeah, every business had their own questions, but this was ours. And with it, people, Zoom, Skype, WhatsApp, etc. We were all trying different things. And I remember, going to visit you on Zoom, and there was this wonderful moment with a child where he was like, "Okay, let's go to a different room," and the child was super. They picked up their laptop and went to their bedroom.
And we don't move. Carry his laptop. It's like, what are you doing, buddy? You have to change room. No, just press click. Okay, that will be enough. Yes.
But speaking seriously though, other moments where, Laurence, you're right, in a class or online, when you said you want to get the best, and they feel it from you when you praise them. They know you're praising something specific as well, right? And there's such joy in that, I know, for the child and for you. So again, if anyone has a chance I want to experience more of what this is like, I wholeheartedly recommend to visit Laurence's page, because sometimes those pictures, sometimes those words speak more than anything we can add here. Yeah.
Okay. Before we end, maybe one last question. Last week, I had an inquiry from a Swiss couple. So they were living in the UK for 15 years, and their child was enrolled in KUMON while they were there. But they have recently moved back to Switzerland, and they found an opportunity because KUMON is not as big yet as it is in UK. So they were asking, what differences would they expect if they open a KUMON in Switzerland? And the second question, which I think we answered already, how KUMON is adjusting to the current situation with the pandemic. Cover that already. But for the first question, maybe Tom, you can address that. Maybe they're watching. I invited them to watch this afternoon.
So what would be the difference in opening a franchise in the UK to opening a franchise in Switzerland?
Because they were KUMON parents, they know how KUMON works there, the UK, I mean, the subjects, how it works. But in Switzerland, it's a different market.
Well, so let's start off with what is the same, because what Laurence spoke about, the reasons why she first decided to join KUMON, but then what is it that looks to achieve every day with the children, which is to make them the best possible individuals. Don't care which country you're looking to set up a KUMON center, that is our goal. And the worksheets that Laurence has touched upon it as well. So for 60 years, 61, 62, let me just quickly do my level B calculation. we have been improving and changing our worksheets in both mathematics and in the English programs to always think from the child's point of view, to always add in little small steps to get the child to think for themselves, to give them the opportunity to learn for themselves. So that program, whether in the UK, in Switzerland, in Singapore, India, South America, it does not matter. That is the same. Yeah. Now there are some fundamental difference. In the UK, they have English as a native language program. Yeah. Whilst in Switzerland, it will be English as a foreign language program. So there is a difference in design and ultimately the end goal of the program there. But the same is applied to both though. A joy of learning, and something which I actually like much more about the EFL program. It's about providing different texts from different cultures, because one of the major goals is to allow a child to experience different ways of thinking from around the world. So when it comes to the value of what the programs can offer, this one is wonderful, and I would echo it to every single parent and instructor out there whenever I get the chance, which is right now. So there's that. In terms of everything else, yeah, Laurence will probably add here. It actually doesn't matter if you're opening up in London, in Edinburgh, in Lausanne, in Zurich. Each community has its own unique factors, yeah. You need to think about, and we would be doing this in a business plan, how much is it that parents may be willing to pay, because as part of your business model you need to factor that in. And I'm afraid from Edinburgh to London to Lausanne to Zurich, it's going to be different. Yeah, what is it that you are looking to offer? And that kind of research on a local level we would do together. Yeah, and that might be some of the major differences there, but we would make sure before you sign, before you even think of taking this, one, in our training, which is amazing in Athens, yeah, you get to experience working with the children, right? We don't want you to, as Laurence knows, don't want you to sign until you've actually experienced Kumon and with the children. Yeah, this is so important. And then the second is with the business, right? Are you happy with this? Maybe not in the first year, of course, a new business, an entrepreneur. But in the second year, third year, is this possible? Is this what we can achieve together? Yeah, and then we never push. But if you want this, and as Laurence talked about with the satisfaction in what she does, yeah, then let's go, let's do it. Yeah. So there are some similarities, but there are some differences as well. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. Sadly, we are running out of time. So,
but Meryl, we have one more thing, which is super important, okay? And Laurence knows that I like to take the opportunity to embarrass her at every moment. It is her birthday today. Yeah. So, Laurence, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Laurence. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Laurence. And thank you for joining us. So anyone else who is viewing, type your birthday message to Laurence. And of course, type in your questions. If you have questions, we'll try to answer them later on, and we'll try to get in touch with you. So thank you again, and have a nice day.
Thank you. There we go.
That was good.
Laurence,
you got your birthday song
super.
live. And